Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Kenny Wallace Show. I am back in Arnold, Missouri now at my house, just 20 miles south of St. Louis. Back from Cabo. Man, that was a wonderful vacation. All right, well, let's get right to it. We have the Daytona 500 this Sunday, our biggest race. Isn't that crazy? They always say, how strange is that NASCAR starts with their Super Bowl? That's just the way they've done it for years. And it seems to work. It's okay. And then, of course, we have the championship, chase, the playoffs at the end of the year. So seems like we got a lot going on early with the Daytona 500. And then at the end of the year with, the playoffs and the championship. So it works. And we got a lot in the middle. All right. Let's get right to it. Today is my official address. If NASCAR can do a State of the Union address, I can give the Kenny Wallace version of my State of the Union address. And here goes. Let's go right at it. I think NASCAR has been lost for several years, and they're trying to find their way back. It's very clear, and it's not a bad thing as long as you recognize it. And NASCAR has recognized that they've been lost, and they're trying to get back. So they're going to celebrate NASCAR's 75th anniversary. So this year, 2023, is NASCAR's 75th year. I think it's awesome. I'm ready to celebrate with them. Now, I'm privy to some inside information. So let me tell you what they tell me. The 75th anniversary, what are they going to do, Kenny? What are they going to do? Well, it's going to be a little bit different than just a logo. Let's start out here. Herminator's got his notes. They're going to be looking back at the past. Who was the first winner in NASCAR? Looking back at what Jeff Gordon did. And then they're going to be looking forward. But what I really like is that each race this year, you're going to see different things. They're going to be going, hey, we're going to bring in Bobby Allison, one time. We're going to bring in Mark Martin. That's looking back. Who's the oldest NASCAR driver living? What race is he going to attend? So NASCAR is really going to pump it up this year. Each race you attend, they're going to be celebrating the past, and you're going to see that. And, of course, they're going to be celebrating their future. We're going to get to that a little bit later on here. The future is what I want to talk about, and I find it amusing. Let's put it that way. So when you go to Daytona, they're going to have some drivers there. They're going to be looking at the past, and I think that's awesome. Now, number two, this is the one I know that everybody's going to hear, but they're going to be celebrating diversity. So, we know Bubba Wallace. We know Daniel Suarez, and they got some more diversity drivers coming up through the ranks. So I just brought you up to date on what NASCAR is going to do for their 75th anniversary. They're going to bring back older drivers, look at the future. They're going to ramp up diversity. They're going to bring back Trackside Live. They're going to measure footsteps. They got somebody that can measure where you're walking at these racetracks. So let me talk good about NASCAR. They see what they did wrong. They said they're going to try to get back to the Speed TV days, and collectively we're all going to do that, and I am going to be part of that. That announcement will be coming out very soon, and I'm going to let them all do the talking. All right, so business. Steve O'Donnell, who is the COO. Herman, what the hell's a COO? I'm a redneck from Arnold, Missouri. Chief Operating Officer. So that means Steve O'Donnell, he's big time. So they said, well, Steve, kind of like State of the Union address, right? NASCAR had theirs, I'm having mine. They said, what's NASCAR going to look like? They said, well, let me get this right. They said, he said, we're going to be looking at new venues. We're going to go to new racetracks. So Steve O'Donnell, a good guy. I like Steve a lot. But he said new venues they're looking at is New York, Seattle, or Portland. Of course, we already know, they've raced up there in Seattle and the Portland area. Possible Canada and Mexico. And let's end the Kenny Wallace show like this. When they asked Steve Phelps, hey, look, F1 has offices. The Formula One series, their offices, listen to this. The offices for Formula One are in Denver, and they got some offices in Atlanta. I didn't know that. I'm like, whoa. Have you noticed what F1's doing? They're racing at these very popular destinations in America. F1's going to run right here at Vegas, and I'm telling you what, buddy, that's going to be big. That could be the biggest race in the history from what I'm seeing and the numbers I'm seeing, the billions of dollars. I mean, from what I'm hearing, if you don't got a ticket now and you don't got a hotel room, you're not going to be able to get to Vegas. I'm sure you're going to be able to get there, but from what I'm hearing, hotel rooms are going for crazy prices. They're building permanent structures in Las Vegas for the garage area. They're not building, they just put a tent up. Formula One is building permanent structures, so it looks to me like Formula One's going to be in Vegas. Formula One in Miami. Formula One already here, Circuit of the Americas, so you get the gist. Well, when they asked Steve O'Donnell from NASCAR, they said, hey, Formula One looks like it's invading America, taking your little turf away. Steve O'Donnell, NASCAR, said, hey, we're really proud that we own 80%. We got 80% of the eyes on NASCAR. Well, that's the right thing to say, but I'm going to leave you with this. Formula One's coming. They're coming. That Netflix special, the kids like cool gadgetry stuff now, and Formula One is gadgetry. It's like flying an airplane on wheels. Those kids love these Formula One cars. Plus, here's the big deal. When you go to a Formula One race, it's a festivity. I mean, there's music and dancing and drinking. And NASCAR's got to get back to that. They got to get back to that Talladega infield. That they got to get to, we call it the midway, right behind the grandstands. NASCAR's got to get back to the partying ways. I'm going to let you say what you want to say. But they're too calm. They've gone too corporate. Here, I'm going to say it. Here's Kenny Wallace's quote. NASCAR cleaned themselves up way too much. But then, we all go behind back and we all drink a beer together. Why the hell can't you do that in real? Why can't you be who you really are? So look for NASCAR to start getting more things going on outside the midway. But the old Herminator's going to say this. Get back to your partying ways. There's a picture out there of me and Bill France Jr. having a beer while he's smoking a cigarette. Bill France drinking a beer, smoking a cigarette at a softball game that I was at because all of us were there. Got to get back to that. All right, that's my State of the Union. That's the Herminator State of the Union. I told you what NASCAR is going to do in the future. I told you what they're looking at. And I told you my opinion, what they got to do. All right, everybody. Remember, subscribe. Please subscribe right here. That only makes us better. And remember, we're in podcast form, Spotify, iTunes. And as I always say, we'll just keep on rolling. We're trying to get better. Hey, you got to crawl before you walk. You got to crawl before you walk. We're getting better.